Your power begins where your responsibility does, in your energy. Now, we've talked about owning your own energy because, of course, the first of the 13 keys for empowered communications is you are responsible for the energy that you bring. Okay. So I was thinking about this after we had just talked about the embracing catalyst the other day, because those two things are really tied together. Because again, when we're talking about embracing catalyst, which again is connected to step 3 of intentional living, assume positive intent, and this is not just in relationship, this is also in regards to the universe. And so basically it is that understanding that things are happening for you, not to you. So again, this comes back to your energy, right? So the energy you bring to the situation is, am I feeling like a victim? Or am I feeling like I am a victor, that I'm coming in and I'm going to overcome these challenges and obstacles? Like, what energy are you bringing to a situation? And if you are going into situations and toxic dumping on everyone who happens to be in near range, you and you alone are the one who's responsible for that and responsible for shifting that. Now, this does not mean that you are never going to have hard days. We're also going to talk about, energy transmutation and how you release some of that, and shadow work. All of that is very important. But it really comes down to the fundamental concept of that personal sovereignty, of owning the fact that your energy belongs to you, right? So you are not just simply being dragged around by the universe into all these different circumstances, okay? So this is where personal sovereignty comes in. And so this comes back to polarity, which we've also talked about. We talked about this in regards to how thought patterns create reality, right? So you get to choose how you view things. Are you going to view it through a positive polarity, or are you going to view it through a negative polarity? And again, I 100% believe that each of us has free will and gets to make that choice, and that each choice is valid, okay? So if you are choosing, if you are really convinced that everything is happening to you and that you really want to stay in that victim mindset, you are welcome to do that. But you need to own the fact that that's a choice that you're making, rather than making it seem as though you have no choice. Because the reality is that we always have a choice with our energy, because we are the ones who get to determine what polarity our perspective is going to be. How are we going to view things? Are we going to automatically assume that people are out to get us? Are we automatically going to take offense at things that people say? And often that is rooted in, deep insecurities. And so that can be kind of tough, because again, if you don't do the shadow work, you literally just have all these triggers that keep coming up, and it's beautiful that the triggers come up if you know what to do with them. If you don't know what to do with them, then you just kind of end up in this maelstrom of emotions flying everywhere. But when you look at things from that perspective of being able to own your own energy, of being intentional to bring love and light into every situation. Now, again, I am never advocating for someone to stay in an abusive situation or a dysfunctional situation. Like, you need to be led. If it is time to step out, then step out. I am not saying that you should stay and just take it. That's not what it's about. I firmly believe in healthy boundaries. And really what we're talking about here is, we're talking about owning your energy is really choosing to live in your sphere of influence to the fullest, understanding that you get to own your thoughts, your actions, your perspectives, and nobody else gets to own that but you. That is yours and yours alone. And that is empowering when you view it from that perspective. And when you release that desire to try and tamper in somebody else's or to allow people to tamper in yours. And we're going to talk about that more a little bit later because that has to do with releasing control. But when you own your sphere of influence, it really is empowering because that is the point where you are owning your own energy and you're realizing, I get to pick who I want to be and the energy that I get to bring to this situation and how I interpret the events that happen to me. And that really is where personal sovereignty blossoms and gains momentum. So hopefully that encourages someone today. And so be responsible for the energy that you bring. Be mindful, be intentional about it, and walk in your personal sovereignty.